The competition this year comes from Finland, land of 1,000 lakes and endless forests. We're based here at Joensuu, 50 miles from the Soviet border and 280 miles northeast of the capital, Helsinki. Founded at the mouth of the Pielesjoki River almost 150 years ago, Joensuu is the capital of North Karelia, one of Finland's 12 provinces. Its growing wealth depended on a vibrant timber trade. Today, it's also a thriving tourist centre with a high reputation in commerce and education. Students cycle to and from the town's highly regarded university, founded in 1969. People here normally enjoy life in the quiet lane, but this year they're in for intense competition, as 8 of the mightiest men on earth do battle for the title, the world's strongest man. Jamie Reeves of Great Britain is the world's strongest man, but sadly he cannot defend his title this year. Jamie, what went wrong?
I had an injury in my left arm where the left bicep tore, causing the bicep tendon to rupture. So after a 4-hour operation, I'm on the road to recovery now.
That must be hugely disappointing.
Yes, I'm very disappointed, but for the world's strongest man next year, I'll be back.
Well, that's very encouraging news, Jamie, but we're not losing him. He's staying with us for the rest of the competition. Let's now meet the competitors. On home soil, Ilkka Niemisto, a former Olympic canoeist for Finland and at 46 the oldest competitor. From Hungary, 32-year-old Laszlo Fekete, for 16 years a handball player, now his country's finest millstone thrower. From Denmark, making his first appearance, Henning Thorsen, at 31, 5 times Danish super heavyweight powerlifting champion. From the nearby Soviet state of Estonia, Apu Spensky, at 24, the wrestler is the youngest and lightest competitor. From Great Britain, 26-year-old former bodybuilder Adrian Smith, coached for this contest by former World's Strongest Man champion Jeff Capes. Challing van den Bosch is the Netherlands' strongest man, a former powerlifter, now at 32, a professional Highland Games athlete. From the United States, the 29-stone giant O.D. Wilson, at 36, a former world super heavyweight powerlifting champion. And the man they'll all have to beat, 30-year-old John Paul Sigmarsson, bidding for a record 4th title. Each day, massive log chains, hundreds of meters long, are pulled down the river Pielesjoki to the Joensuu sawmills. Well, a tug normally does that, but for event 1 of World's Strongest Man, each man will be hauling over 20 meters, 15 tons of logs against the current. It's difficult enough, but when you consider that most of this, like an iceberg, is under the water, you see the task ahead of them. So perfect conditions on the river for event 1 as a large crowd watches the logs being pushed into position. A moment for 3 times title holder John Paul Sigmarsson to reflect on the difficulties lying ahead.
Mainly, I think the competitors could slip on the rope, and some of them might not have, you know, enough power.
Looking at the field this year, who's the biggest threat to you?
The biggest one is O.D. Wilson. He's a mighty big man.
And does he pose the biggest threat as well?
You just have to wait and see.
Ilkka Niemisto, Finland, prepare to pull.
So, Finland's strongest man is first to take the strain, with the nylon rope biting into his hands. Plenty of advice from his coach Marku, and Jamie Reeves, all the effort appears to be coming from Ilkka's arms.
Yes, Ilkka's using a lot of arm on this pull and doesn't seem to be using enough leg, but still is keeping a very smooth action, and it looks a very quick pull.
Well, he's 46 years old, Jamie. Where's it really hurting him?
The arms will be taking a real beating now as he's getting towards the end.
That's the 5-meter mark. Into the home straight. The klaxon sounds. It's 57.52 seconds. A very good effort from the oldest competitor.
Prepare to pull.
A mighty roar from a man who's more used to throwing than pulling. Laszlo Fekete, the Hungarian millstone thrower, losing a grip there on this wet nylon rope, Jamie.
Yes, his grip seems to be at fault here. He's not squeezing the rope hard enough. It's slipping through his hands terribly. He's really got to buckle under and pull this now.
Well, there's huge effort, but really is wasting it, isn't he?
Yes, it looks a very slow time. He's wasting a lot of power, but his arms are slipping.
Almost at 5 meters. Already he's outside Ilkka's time. Well, Laszlo looks very disgusted with that, and Adrian Smith watching apprehensively as the judges agree a time of 65.34 seconds.
Charling van den Bosch, the Netherlands, prepare to pull. Up, Charling.
Charling this time leaning right forward, gripping as far up the rope as he possibly can. He's 22 stones, possibly the body weight a key factor, Jamie.
I think the body weight will help him overcome the inertia of the load, but once again Charlie's slipping and he doesn't seem to be using enough leg again.
A longer reach this time from the Dutchman.
Yes, he's got a good long reach and he's using that to his advantage now.
Well, there's terrific determination written across his face as he pulls faster and faster. The time's looking good. Well, these hands must be burning, but that's a leading time, 55.46 seconds. He must be happy with that effort.
Okay, I beat the first two competitors, but I'm afraid the winning time will be around 50 seconds flat. And that is not my time, I'm afraid.
We could see your hands were hurting at the end there.
Ah, yes, yes. It burns a little, hey? It's nylon, so, but that doesn't matter. That pain is not important. The pain of not winning is more important.
Prepare to pull.
Now after Uspensky, the lightest man in the contest, a mere 17.5 stones. Well, he's a professional wrestler, Jamie, so does he have the technique to cope with this?
That looks well coordinated and he's using his legs, but he doesn't seem to be coming back to the rope fast enough. He's not really attacking it, but still it's a very smooth pull.
One disadvantage, these logs are soaking up the water as the event goes on.
Yes, they're getting heavier all the time.
Well, only 5 metres separating the Estonian from the finishing line. He's pushing the Dutchman hard.
That's a good time.
55.86 seconds, a very good performance from such a light man, and Aap is second.
John Paul Sigmarsson of Iceland, prepare to pull.
Now the turn of John Paul Sigmarsson, the contest's most experienced competitor. Well, coming from Iceland, he's used to maritime events. How's he doing here?
He doesn't seem to be going back to the rope fast enough. He seems to be asleep. He's not pulling nowhere near hard enough on this.
A very different technique, using both hands at the one time.
Yes, and then again, he's not using enough leg.
Well, the time is definitely slow. There's the 5 metre mark again.
That's not a good start.
Frustration from John Paul, 57.7 seconds, second last.
Ooh,
What were the problems there?
just not strong enough. No excuses.
Henning Thorsen from Denmark now takes up the Viking challenge. This is his debut event in World's Strongest Man. And that's his view of the task, with 15 metres of the 20 metre course lying ahead.
Henning's doing very short strokes. The raft doesn't seem to be moving. He's using all arm. He's not getting his legs and back into this at all.
Shouts of encouragement, but he is slower again. 57 seconds gone. Only Thickettty slower so far. Well, acknowledgement of his time, 59.61 seconds, but all eyes now focusing on the biggest man in the contest. O.D. Wilson descending for his attempt at the log haul against the flow of the Pielesjoki River. And some looks of disbelief at his sheer size.
O.D. Wilson, USA, prepare to pull.
Yeah, come on, man.
Now that's better. O.D. seemed to use his 29 stones effectively, giving the logs a real tug before reaching the sitting position. Jamie, will this massive upper body strength help pull the 15 tons?
Yes, if anyone's going to pull it with just arms, it's going to be O.D. He's got 24-inch arms. That's as big as a woman's waist.
Incredible his size, but he seems to be making progress.
Yes, he's really getting his big body weight behind this and giving it a good pull.
Inside the last 3 metres, the time's very good. Yes, he set the heather on fire there, 53.33 seconds, beating Uspensky and Van den Bosch. He's in the lead.
I know you were worried about your grip, but it held firm there.
Yeah, I think before the competition, I touched Jamie Reeves. I said, I need some of your power. So it came, it worked. So that was it. Yeah, for any kids out there watching, when you grow up, be a strong man. This is great stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
Adrian Smith, United Kingdom, prepare to pull.
You're busted. Pull.
Now the advantage for Britain's Adrian Smith, the last man to pull, is knowing precisely what he has to beat. His disadvantage is a body weight of 19 stones, some 10 stones lighter than OD.
I don't think that's bothering Adrian because he's really attacking this rope and he's using a lot of leg. This is the first time we've seen anybody really attack this rope.
Same technique as Uspensky, but more aggression.
Yes, and a lot more leg. This looks like being a fast time.
5 metre mark, he's inside everybody now. Oh, what a great time.
Great start for Adrian.
50.32 seconds, 3 seconds faster than OD as John Paul suffers in silence. But for Adrian, sweet victory.
Well done, Adrian. Tremendous start there.
Yeah, very pleased with the start. I had a bit of an advantage with the luck of the draw going last, so I knew which time I needed to beat. But I'm very pleased with it.
You're one of the smallest, lightest men. It didn't seem to matter.
No. Fitness and just strength can overcome loss of body weight, so, you know, I'm very pleased.
And no wonder, as Smith takes maximum points. OD takes 7, and in his first major contest, Uspensky does very well to earn 5. For Sigmarsson, it's a disastrous start. We've moved right to the heart of WSM now for one of the great favourites of the competition, the truck pool. Competitors are asked to haul 6.5 tons of truck 20 metres along the high street. This time, it's man against man. Heat 1 pits the drive of Estonian Uspensky against the strength of Dutchman Challing van den Bosch. So the Dutchman, filling this great harness, strains forward to give the truck momentum. He's taking short steps and already pulling clear of the Soviet competitor.
Yes, this is good technique by Charlie. Short strides, slowly beginning to lengthen them as the truck gets moving faster. Looks like he's struggling. I think he's got spikes on. He seems to be slipping a little bit.
Walking in the white lines, that's a mistake, they're slipping. And Challing van den Bosch from Holland almost running towards the finish line. The time's good.
Yes, this is a good time for Charlie. He's nearly there.
Yes, 29.4 seconds, but he came down heavily. How important's body weight here, Jamie?
Well, body weight helps at the start, but it's up to the athlete to keep low and show good technique and keep the pull clean all the way through.
Uspensky's almost there now. It's 46.98 seconds. Challing clearly in pain, clutching the shoulder after that landing.
It's not really bad, but when I finished, I reached for the line and I landed on my elbow. So I had the idea the shoulder was here. I think it was for a second, but it came in nicely, so there's not really a problem, I hope.
Heat 2 and 3 times title holder John Paul Sigmarsson tries to psych himself up. Laszlo Fekete takes the strain.
On your march and get set.
And Sigmarsson needs some points badly here. He's currently lying in 6th place, but he's very experienced in this event and seems to have the right technique.
Yes, this is copybook technique by Sigmarsson. He's staying really low, keeping the hips low, driving with the legs, but he knows he needs the points badly on this event. Laszlo's all over the place. He's swaying from side to side. He's not steady on the rope at all.
Well, now the Icelander's within easy reach of the line. He's very fast. Let's watch the time. It's 30.9 seconds. But he's still outside Challing's time. The Dutchman's beaten him into second. And Fekete is down now. 35.24 seconds. Well, in spite of that performance, the Icelandic camp seems despondent. John Paul seems to lack the fire of old.
I'm hardly awake yet, so I didn't say anything. Just did it. Just like stepping out of the bed. But you will see more, you know, later on. More madness. Blah.
Well, an indication perhaps of the way John Paul's feeling, but there are 6 remaining events. And on the starting blocks for Heat 3, Adrian Smith and Henning Thorsen. Adrian Smith on the near side really low, while Henning Thorsen is in a far more upright position.
Yes, although Adrian looks low with his head, his hips seem to be high. Thorsen seems to be a little more upright, but Adrian's giving away so much body weight to Thorsen, around 4 stones. I think that's going to be too much in this event.
Thorsen driving forward, pulling well